my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we're going to be doing a vlog for Jante's Inferno. Alright, so before we get into anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments, did you partake in this readathon, and were you successful in getting out of hell? So if you're unaware, this is a readathon that is hosted by the wonderful Jan at Jan Agaton, and it is inspired by Dante's Inferno, so you have to work through the 9 circles of hell to make your way out. And luckily, it's the 3rd day of this readathon, and I have already managed through the first 3 levels. I kept putting off starting this video. So starting out with level 9 was to betray your TBR, so read a book that you don't own or don't currently have on your TBR. I ended up going with Feed Them Silence by Lee Mendello. I actually had heard about this from Jan originally, so that kind of worked out perfectly. This is a little horror novella where we are following a doctor who has been working most of her life with wolves and just recently started in on this project that literally neurally links her to a wolf. But this ends up having some serious repercussions on her personal life that she's not really anticipating. I ended up listening to the audiobook of this while I was at work, and I will say it was not really as horrific as I expected. There are a few scenes that are a bit gory, and there is an underlying feeling of unsettlingness as our main character, Sean, starts to kind of not quite lose her grip, but almost like lose her understanding of her identity, I guess is where I'll go with that. I did like the sci-fi elements though, along with the neural link to her wolf Kate. There's also some hints here and there that this is like further into the future where climate change is starting to have a more serious impact on the world and on nature. Really though, I think the highlight of this book is in the character of Sean and just kind of watching her experience with this situation and how it sort of forces her to really analyze herself, figure out who she is, and also the serious impact that has on her relationship with her wife. I finished this and my first thought was I absolutely am going to be checking out more of Mendello's work because these sorts of characters are so interesting. Sean is not particularly likable, though I did sort of root for her in the story. However, I was just so engaged with her character that I wanted to know what was going to happen next. I actually really like how Mendello ended this. It's not a perfect happy ending, but it's also not nearly as drastic and tragic as I think it could have gone, and I was happy for that. It felt like it matched with the overall themes in the story and the changes we see Sean go through. So along with Circle 9, this also could work for Circle 8, a dark cover, but so could the next book that I finished, Soul Eater Volume 23 by 𝗖cie RH𝘁𝗁𝘁. This was technically my pick for Circle 7 actually, which is to have a book with violence in it, and seeing as how I am in the final fight of this series, yeah, there's a lot of violence going on. So I've mentioned this series numerous times on my channel, and every time I'm just going to give you the same little spin because honestly, it's hard to talk about a manga series when you're 23 out of 25 volumes in without giving something away. So in this world, there are people who work for Lord Death, the Shinigami, and there are these people who are Meisters and those that are weapons. Yes, the weapons actually turn into some sort of a weapon. We follow 3 different teams that attend an academy where the Meisters are trying to turn their weapons into death weapons. By this point, we're really in the very final stretch. Things are truly starting to close out here, but I also had a few issues with this one because we kind of revitalized the fan service of earlier volumes, which I'm never a big fan of. And an ongoing issue I've had with a lot of these final volumes is there's introductions to these new characters that pop up out of nowhere, but we don't get an actual introduction. It's just we should know who they are, but I don't, and it's bugging me. I don't like that. However, a lot that happens in the plot with this one I really enjoyed, so it was really hard for me to rate this a lower rating when there was so much of the plot that was keeping me really invested and making me excited for what's going to happen next and how are things going to actually finish. I also really enjoy the way this artist utilizes black backgrounds, and especially in the more unsettling moments where madness is really amplified. This is a series of pages that I'm going to do my best to not let anything too spoilery show. We're kind of building up anticipation with these black pages, and with each new panels it's another scene is being laid out for what's happening next, and then these final ones. And lastly, I just really enjoy when Okubo does these different panel styles. He is a really good artist, and I feel those panels really show it off. I have 2 more volumes left, and then I will officially finish this out, and that is so bittersweet. So next up obviously is Circle 6. I believe this is to pick a hot book or like a popular book, and I am reading A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. At this point I am 93 pages in, and I am enjoying this. I tried listening to the audiobook, and I think the narrator does a good job, especially with the accents of settling you into the setting, and it wasn't holding my interest very well via audio at least, so I kind of ended up having to reread a little section physically last night, but I am still invested in the story thus far. We're following mainly a bard named Jack who has recently returned to his home village, I guess, let's say, yeah, village, and he is being asked by his childhood frenemy, who is now the like upcoming ruler of the village, to assist in the investigation for these 2 girls who have recently gone missing, and the belief is that the folk have taken them, and so they need a bard in order to try and speak with these folk. I didn't actually know fairies were involved in the story, but I do enjoy folklore, and it feels like Ross is kind of going more true to the original folklore stories around the folk, so I am excited about that. There's also a little bit of that like childhood enemies to lovers energy that I believe happens in this series, but we also have a side couple we see a lot of as well who are recently married, and I'm still getting a hold on whether or not like they're actually in love, or this is a situation where they got married and are falling in love as they spend more time together as a couple. But I'm really liking this so far, and it is going pretty well, which is great. Hey y'all, so let's talk about how I have completely failed this readathon. And I wouldn't even say it's because like I didn't read, because I did. I actually have been reading fairly well. The downside is that I have fallen into a fan fiction hole. So I've just been completely neglecting my actual TBR. And I also think the fact that I had a 500-page book, yeah, I kind of shot myself in the foot with that one. I definitely need to kind of plan better next year to really focus on shorter books. I did that in the start, and then I was like, you know what, this will give me plenty of time to read this one book. The length did hold me up more than I was expecting. So I did technically finish A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, which completed the prompts for both Circle 6 and 5 for a hot pick, and then one that has like a conflict that interested you. And I did like this book. I actually did really enjoy it. I just for some reason had a hard time getting through it quickly. I felt like this was a book I really wanted to go slowly and take my time, probably because the pacing itself is on the more meandering side, and that matches more with the whimsical fairy tale feel of this. It doesn't seem like there's really a rush. There's not a huge amount of urgency in the story, even though obviously our characters are trying to solve this mystery, but it's not in such a way where it's just go, 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 go because of circumstances around how they're trying to solve it. That being said, I did actually really enjoy how the mystery of the story ended up wrapping up. There were a few twists in this plot that I didn't expect, though I feel like overall this is a pretty predictable story. And then when it came to the romances, I would argue Jack is like the main character we're really following. The others are more side characters. However, his romance paled in comparison to that between Sidra and Torin, the side characters. Torin is the captain of the guard for their side of the village, and then Sidra is his wife. They kind of married for convenience sake since have been falling in love. The ride we go on with those two as they just start to really realize their feelings in this book was so good. It was so good. Tying back to my prior comments around the lack of urgency, it's a cliffhanger, but it's also not one where I feel urgency to pick up the next book. Like where things stand here, it's like, oh, okay. But I don't really know, what's going to happen next. The mystery that we've been following in this one is solved, but what's drawing you back is for the characters and also what's going to happen on this isle. I liked it, but I don't feel like I have to go pick up the next book right now. You get what I'm saying? Because this is a vlog and I feel like I have really stunk at updating in it. Let's talk about Valentine's Day happened. It was fun. Josh and I had a pretty low-key one. On Valentine's Day, we ended up going to see the new Captain America movie and both of us really enjoyed it. I think it is definitely a good introduction movie for the new Captain America we're going to be following. There's a lot of tiebacks that I feel like fans from the beginning are going to very much enjoy, plus many little character cameos that have me intrigued for more and desperate to see what's going to be coming next for some of them. We had a lot of fun with that. And then on Saturday, the two of us ended up getting massages, which was really nice. Plus, afterwards, there was a haunted house that did a Valentine's Day one, and it was actually kind of like a tag game. So as you're walking through, there are different actors based obviously on different horror movies, and they had these stickers, so they would come at you and you could like dodge or move out of their way. Technically you weren't supposed to run, but we definitely rushed a time or two. However, even still, we did die many a times, obviously, based on this poster. But it was just so fun that they actually made this poster, so we couldn't resist and we had to like collect all of the stickers that we did have. The only two we were missing were Jason and Jigsaw. I got hit like 6 times. I'm not gonna lie, I got past Jason and then after that, I like pretty much immediately gave up because the next actor who came up on me, I didn't know what to do. I could not avoid him. There was no opportunity for me to avoid him. So he just smacked a sticker on me. And then it became a game of how many can I get? Answer was 6. Josh got 3. But yeah, so this was a lot of fun and we're both really hoping they bring that one back because it was very entertaining. So officially rounding out this vlog, I read 3 books. I had 2 Shortie-Patorties and a doorstopper. It's not quite a doorstopper. It's not actually 500 pages, but it's just shy of it. For the second year in a row, I did not escape hell. I was really hoping to just double down and work through as much as I could this weekend. That didn't happen. That didn't. Like I said, I have been in a fan fiction hole and I officially put my foot down this morning. I'm not letting myself read anymore. I'm not doing it. I have to actually focus on my novels and my TBR and video plans. All right, y'all, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me the fire emoji in the comments. I have all my socials as well as a few ways you can support me, including a Patreon linked in the description. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!